before that, I'd like to here with me is Olivia. Olivia is she's our current year 1 student. Yeah, her high school is an alumni from Anglo Chinese School Jakarta, and this is her second semester. Yes, Olivia, hi.
Hi. Yes, you're correct. Second semester.
Yes, second semester, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Olivia started with us in Singapore. She chose Singapore, and I'll ask her some questions. And maybe if you guys have some questions, you can also. So Olivia, let me start off with the most important question. Why ESSEC BBA program?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Debbie, for introducing me. And is that to say hello? Yes. Hello everyone. I'm very happy and grateful to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So why ESSEC and specifically why the BBA program? So just a bit of context. Basically, I knew ESSEC because I joined ESSEC's case competition. ESSEC has this like yearly case competitions and business competitions, business camps that they host high school students, which is really, really insightful. And it definitely because you get to not only learn more about business through the camps and network with more people, but you can also actually see ESSEC, the school. But essentially, that's what I did. I joined a competition, and from that competition, I was actually able to see how ESSEC's work/school is. I realized that this was not like your average university because there's this there's this image of like when you go to university, it's going to be big classes, just a lot of students and just like one teacher, and you won't know anyone, and you're only gonna study there. Oh, everything in ESSEC is essentially the opposite of that. So because I'm in Singapore, the classes are they're relatively smaller, but that makes us very interactive. So the lecturers and the professors, they really, really like pay attention to each and every one students, and they really give you constructive and detailed feedback every class. It's also really easy to make friends here, and that has a lot to do with the diversity, which I will talk about later. But essentially, the reason why I chose ESSEC is because of the case competition. I was able to see how professors in ESSEC taught me. As in those competitions, I also joined workshops, and those workshops were taught by my current professors actually. And so I realized that the style of teaching is similar to high school, as in the teachers really pay attention to really they really personalize and customize the classes to everyone's needs. And so I believe that ESSEC was like the perfect bridge and university, which is really, really helpful because there's no big gap between the two. Obviously, on top of that, ESSEC is also a highly ranked university. And there's a lot of opportunities that you can get in the schools. For example, you get an exchange program, like Debbie mentioned, you get internships, and you get a good balance of student life academics here. And I would say that the reason I choose ESSEC is because there is a lot of things in the classes itself. As in, yes, you learn business, get a holistic approach as you learn everything from the basics, which is great, especially since some of my friends are actually from STEM majors, so they were able to seamlessly integrate themselves into the business world. And in group projects. Like in our classes, we love group projects. So essentially, this really helps us to build our teamworking skills. And it's not really like it's not really like high school in a way that most of your assignments would be individuals. No, it's only the exams that are individual. Most of the projects and assignments will be project based. A lot of classes, and like what I said, it's a holistic approach, meaning you learn everything from Excel class to microeconomics, accounting, and even language classes. You get 2 language classes in ESSEC, and I think that is a really, really unique point from this school.
Thank you, Olivia. I think you're so excited. I think you answered all everyone's
I hope
questions
so.
before they even get to ask you, right? Right. I got so many questions in line, but I think you answered most of them. But anyway, yes, you have that choice where you get to go to Sergi, you get to start from Sergi, you get to start from Singapore, or you get to start from Morocco, right? But why do you choose Singapore track?
Okay, that great. Thank you for the question, Debbie. But yes, the reason why I choose Singapore track is essentially, well, as I mean, the video this webinar basically explains everything. Singapore is a really like, it's a melting pot, as in there's so much cultures, not only in terms of like work, but also friends wise, food wise, and even the way that you live. There's so much of variety of cultures, and I think that's really interesting, because even as business students, you should be able to adapt to those cultures. And so I think it's kind of like, in a way, other than that, I mentioned this before, but the school itself, the classes itself, is particularly smaller than the other two campuses. And I really appreciate that, because I prefer having a close relationship with my professors and my friends, and really connecting with them in classes, rather than having like a big class where I just know my professor because they teach me and I don't know them personally. So the small classes in Singapore really makes it easier for me to, blend in better with both my lecturers, my friends, and even people like Debbie, like my recruiters, as I say. And one more thing is, I would say that Singapore is, the country itself is just a good country for those of you who are, the first timers living abroad. So just a bit of background, I'm from Indonesia, and I am the first person abroad. So this is a really big change for my family. But the fact that I went to Singapore, it really calmed my parents and my nerves down, because firstly, Singapore is very safe. And it also is a great place to just start being independent and learning to be independent, because yes, you're going to face some challenges living alone, but the Singapore system actually helps you do that. As in, for example, we have a really efficient transport system. There's food courts everywhere, so you don't have to worry about your groceries or your food. So it's a really efficient country. And I think to a lot of families, if your daughter, son, child is a first timer abroad, Singapore is a really great place to start. And that's
Not only that, right? Singapore is so near to everywhere, right?
oh
Your
yes,
whole
yes,
country.
of course,
It's
yes. Yes, me personally, so my parents also aren't like that scared, like if something happens.
How
But
many
yeah,
hours are
even
the
then,
flight? How
it's
many hours?
it's like 2 hours, but it's actually only 1 hour 20 minutes. So it's like how many episodes? Just watch one episode there already.
Yes. And of course, like what you mentioned, that you get to mingle with all your friends, your professors. This is business, this is what we call networking. Okay. So and also Singapore campus, we do have different program students, like the PhD student, the master students, right? And you get to mingle with them in the lift. And so again, you get to network a lot. You get to start collecting all your cards and all your
Yes,
LinkedIn connection and things like that. Because who knows, right? Your program, you need to actually utilize some of your cards here,
yes.
right? Yes. Amazing. Okay. Since you are now in your year one, right? I believe you will one day in your year two need to do an exchange program, right? With our 175 partners. So have you chosen your university? Who are you going with?
I have a university in mind, and that is the one of the double degree programs. I want to go to Japan, KO University. And the reason why I'm a bit scared talking about this is because yes, and as Debbie mentioned, the double degree program is based strictly on your ranking, which means that what depends whether you ranked high one of the highest in the entire three
Cohort.
campuses. Yeah, cohort, yes. And in addition, great if you can get your name into the dean's list, which is essentially is like the top 10%, because those students will ultimately get the spot seats for those double degree. But just a little bit on the double degree programs, other than KO University, I also am open to going to Waseda and all the other universities in Japan. But the double degree, they'll just be under an exchange program. And how that works, as Debbie mentioned, is that again, 6 months in that school, and then the remaining 6 months or the next semester is you'll have to pick Sergio or Rabat, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right. Yes. But like, there's so many options when it comes to universities and countries. There's so much, and those universities are really, really high. And the best thing about them is if anyone here is worried, like, oh, I want to go to Russia or not Russia, I want to go to China, maybe China, or other countries that maybe you're not fluent, or because those universities offer the classes in English, so you don't really have to worry about the language while learning. Yes. And for me personally, I take Japanese class in ESSEC myself, so that really helps. And so again, it's just all like it all just kind of like connects with each other. The languages that you take might, help you in the end with your exchange programs. Yeah.
So basically, if you do exchange with another country that don't speak English, don't need to worry. So the whole program is in English.
Yes.
Yeah, even if you go to English, is why the reason why we have the 3 classes for languages is so that at least you can have that minimal conversational kind of language, that you can actually think things and your day-to-day experience. Yeah, so, and of course, the more you practice, the better you'll be. So you taking Japanese and choosing your track to go to the KO, it's like the journey that you choose, right? Yes, it's all linked up,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Okay, amazing. Hong An, do we still have questions? Can I still ask her questions?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for your interesting presentation about ESSEC, and thank you, Olivia, for your profile sharing. So, and anyone who has any question or you don't get any part unclearly, you can raise your question for Mr. Debbie or Olivia in English or in Vietnamese. I will translate for you. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I put one question, Olivia.
Sure.
So I know you'll be doing after your second semester,
Yes.
right? So you need to find a
Yeah.
and of course, it's your first time, your first job, right? And you just only learn 2 semesters with us at ESSEC. So how are you going to find your job? Like,
Okay.
do we have anything that can support you?
Yes, definitely. So, the whole entire my experience and from the start of my application all the way until me as a student now, I've been guided by really supportive teams. Debbie, and there's the specific department in ESSEC called the Career Services Center. Those those people my colleagues there who help They essentially really guide you throughout the whole internship process, creating CV processes. And how do they do that? Well, they basically do it through three main things. So firstly is they provide us with workshops. So all of our classes, we also have compulsory workshops where we have to well sit in obviously, but we have to participate in workshops that are related to finding internships. So recently I had a workshop about how to create your CV, like steps up, and the instructor will literally help you the workshop and help you like one by one, like, oh, you should do this, you should do this, and they'll give them to do it in class too. And then another one was also how to find internships. And I think that's really, again, how am I going to find it if I'm an international student here and I don't know anyone, right? So those workshops really give you great insight, and you can always contact them if you need any more questions. The second way that they help us, the Career Services Center, is by a CV consultation. So yeah, like you can one of the there is my colleague Sarah. She is a very, very helpful colleague, but essentially she is the one who helps us with our CV. Email her to talk about is it okay if I talk to you about my CV, and she will give you very detailed advice. And obviously the advice is very, very credible because Sarella is so I think it's like you don't have to worry for students who are here. You don't have to worry if you don't know how to make a good CV for work, because ESSEC will lead the way. And the last way that they help, even though there are more obviously, the last main way is that ESSEC also have career fairs where essentially they bring like 40, 50 companies to the school, and they'll have booths, and you're able to network and you get the opportunity to interact with your future potential employers. And that itself is the strongest, in my opinion, strongest way and the most effective way to get a job, because it's from your interactions that they can see your personality, and they'll be able to remember you as a potential candidate. So those three things really, really helped me in my process of finding internships, and it still is helping me now.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, that's right. We do have workshops. We do have career officers who actually help out. We focus really strongly about career building for students because we at the end make sure that students able to find a job. So we always give them the tools to teach them how to fish. So we don't give them the fish, but we give them the tools, right? Yes, and the opportunity for you to network with the companies, all there. It's at the end of the day is how do you perform, right? So all this you learn in school here, all this you learn with ESSEC. But anyway, thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much. You're so kind and so informative, and there's so much information that is coming out from you. I hope those audience they capture them, they take a note and things like that, right? But if you guys have any other questions and you'd like to reach out to Olivia, so Olivia is our student ambassador, and she's here to actually reach out to if there's anyone have a further questions. So you can go to our website, and go to ESSEC Talk. So this is ESSEC Talk where you can find Olivia. Click on this, contact them. So there is a lot of different student ambassadors here from different nationalities, different tracks and things like that. So you feel free to even contact them and speak to them. If you would like us to help you reach out to any of the students, reach out to us or Hi An, we will be able to connect you. Yeah. So listening from the student in themselves, the real life students, will be better as well for your experience. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.